in today's lesson, we are just going to be mapping out the proportions of our hand, okay? And as you can see here, first thing you're going to want to do is you just get a regular dock and you're going to make a grid. And I'm going to show how to do this in just a second. And then we're going to look at the proportions of our hand, break our hand into four quadrants, and then slowly map out the sections of your hand in each quadrant. Okay. Tomorrow we'll actually be going in and doing the fine details on top of it and actually drawing out the hand. Okay. But this is what your final product will kind of look like today, a very rough sketch of your proportions. All right. Okay, so let's get started. The first thing you're going to want to do is make sure you have a 8.5 by 11. So file new, 8.5 by 11, resolution 72. Okay. All right. And then get a fresh layer. Okay. And then I'm going to actually throw on my grid. So view extras. And with my brush tool, set it black and 3. I am going to make my four quadrants. So I'm going to click once, hold down my shift key, click again. Okay, that's one. I'll come up here. I click once, I hold down my shift key, keep holding down the shift key, and then I come down here and I click again. Okay. And so now I have four quadrants. All right. So if I get rid of my view extras, okay, so you can see. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just fold my hand over and then kind of bend my thumb in. Okay. And then I'm going to look at my hand. If you look at the vein kind of going up, it goes right in between your middle finger. That will be this line here. Okay. And then if you look at where your thumb goes up, there's like it's like it's not your top knuckle. It's like that joint right below. That is pretty much like right here, okay? So then so now you've visually divided your hand into four quadrants. Your index finger, if you bend that down, that kind of aligns right here, okay? All right. So now what I'm going to do is this is my quadrant layer. Now I'm going to actually create a mapping out layer, and I'm just going to call this mapping out. Okay. These are not going to be my contour lines. This is just to help me when I'm ready to actually draw tomorrow. All right. So if my wrist is right here, okay. Again, I'm in this bottom quadrant here. It kind of cuts out, it goes at an angle about, I don't know, about 110. So it's going to come out here like this. And then it sort of goes up where that joint is right there. Okay. And then from here, it goes up to my knuckle. All right. And then it comes up, and then I have my thumb right here. Right. And my thumb, let's say my thumb goes to right about there. Right. Okay. Now that might be too thick, but right now it's fine. Then my index finger knuckle is right here. And then it comes down, the base of where my nail is comes right to here about. And again, I'm just mapping out the shape, getting a real rough estimate. Now that next knuckle is right about here. It's just a little bit lower. So actually it's right here. Okay. And then that thumbnail is below that quadrant line. Okay. And maybe I might want to make it a little bit higher, but that's okay for right now. Now, the next finger over, it kind of tucks in here. Okay. And then the knuckle part is up here. And then it comes down. And then my pinky just tucks in right here. And then that knuckle kind of shoots out here. And then it comes around. And then my hand comes down, right? Okay. Now what I'm noticing are my fingers are way, way too smushy. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in and get my eraser and I am going to up it some more. Okay. So come up here. So maybe my thumb is here. Okay. My thumb's here. That's there. That one's there. That one's like there. And then my pinky's right there. Okay. All right. And again, I'm just mapping out, I'm just getting in my proportions. Okay, that's it. Kind of figuring out this one actually goes a lot lower. That one goes a lot lower, right? That one tucks in right here. Okay. I'm just figuring out where everything is. Okay. Okay. One thing that you want to see is if you look at this angle that goes from here to here, okay, does it kind of match? So yeah, so this the thumb is up high, then that knuckle is right here, right? That knuckle comes here, that knuckle's here, and then that little guy's right there, right? And then if you look at this one here, it's the same thing. It's at a bit of an angle, right? And then the pinky comes up. Make sure that that goes into an angle. And then that's like that. Okay. So for mapping out, that looks pretty darn good, right? My finger, my hand could be a little bit more wider, maybe. I could maybe make these a little bit wider, but for right now, I'm pretty happy with that. Okay. Okay. Now, if we look here, I think I did a little bit better job on this one. Okay. For the mapping out. But again, every time you do it is just a little different, right? If I look at my quadrants, I have a bit of an angle, although my thumb is higher. So I need to make sure that that thumb is like that. Okay. All right. So today you're just mapping out. Um, See how I make these little ant trails? Okay. These work out good because you can kind of mark off like, okay, it it tucks in. So go like this. Like, okay, it starts here, but then it kind of tucks in and then it comes out a little bit, right? And then it's at a bit of an angle, but then it comes in. So you're kind of looking at everything right now. Okay. Now, if you have time and you want to kind of start to go, okay, let's kind of map in these nail beds here. And again, this is just the rough draft. And that's at a bit of an angle, right? And that one, we're only going to see part of it. Okay. Right. And so we're starting to kind of see these sections and the parts of the hand to make it look more realistic. Okay. Make sure like the diagonal here, kind of pay attention to that. Pay attention to the diagonal where your nails are. Pay attention to how much higher the thumb is. If you break it into your quadrants, right, on this quadrant 2 here, how many knuckles do you have? So you just have 1 2 thumb. And then quadrant 3 you have 1 2. Down here in quadrant 1, that's just the base of your thumb, and then here in quadrant 4 is just the bottom part below your pinky and then your ring finger. My ring finger hits the middle quadrant, the line here, okay? And a little bit of it goes into this first quadrant. Okay. Good luck mapping it out. That's all we're doing today. Tomorrow we'll go in and really start to draw it out and again, you need to have your hand in some type of bend, okay? Because this is where you're going to be training your eyes to follow proportions and angles. All right. Good luck. And then stay tuned for part two, which will be tomorrow, where we will go in and draw out the actual hand with the contour line.